We are most ingenious when we deceive ourselves. The good thing about getting old is that you don't have to worry about dying young. If you're enjoying it, you can do it forever. The scariest moment is always just before you start. Fiction is the truth inside the lie. Harry Potter is about confronting fears, finding inner strength, and doing what is right in the face of adversity. Twilight is about how important it is to have a boyfriend. Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work. Books are uniquely portable magic. Fear can hold you prisoner, but hope can set you free. A book is a uniquely portable magic. Books are the perfect entertainment. No commercials, no batteries, hours of enjoyment for each dollar spent. What I wonder is why everybody doesn't carry a book around for those inevitable dead spots in life. It never hurts to hope for the best, as long as you're prepared for the worst. If you don't have time to read, you don't have the time or the tools to write. Simple as that. If you want to be a writer, you must do two things above all. Others read a lot and write a lot. If you want to be a writer, you must have at least a little talent. In fact, the real requirement is the ability to remember every scar. Consistency is more important than anything else. A person who cannot share their habits is a person who needs to quit. Remember that while you judge a book, the book is also judging you. Reading a good long novel is like having a long and satisfying relationship. Monsters are real, and ghosts are real too. They live inside us, and sometimes they win. Time heals all wounds. The road to hell is paved with adverbs. The brain is a muscle that can move the world. The trust of the innocent is the liar's most useful tool. The most important things are the hardest to say. When asked, "How do you write?" I always answer, "One word at a time." The story begins in the imagination of the writer, but it should end in the readers. You learn best by reading a lot and writing a lot. The most valuable lessons are the ones you teach yourself. A writer needs a good imagination, but that imagination is like a muscle. This means that it needs to be exercised in a disciplined way every day by writing, failing, succeeding, and revising. To be a writer, you must do two things above all others: read a lot and write a lot. There's no way around these two things that I'm aware of, no shortcut. Writing isn't life, but I think it can be a way back to life. Write with the door closed, rewrite with the door open. Change is as good as rest. Only enemies speak the truth. Friends and lovers lie endlessly, caught in the web of duty. I write to find out what I think. We make up horrors to help us cope with the real ones. Writing a novel, particularly a long one, can be a difficult, lonely job. It's like crossing the Atlantic Ocean in a bathtub, especially with plenty of opportunity to doubt yourself. Only God gets things right the first time. When you sit down to write, always remind yourself why your desk is not in the middle of the room. Life isn't a support system for art. It's the other way around. High tide, low tide, and time wait for no one. When all else fails, give up and go to the library. Authors are often the worst judges of what they have written. I am the literary equivalent of a Big Mac and fries. Madness is a form of mental suicide. A short story is like a kiss in the dark from a stranger. I suspect we are all mental patients. The ones outside the hospitals just hide it a little better. The eternal struggle between good and evil is endlessly fascinating because we are participants every day. In polite society, we sometimes call obsession a hobby. Have a moment of gratitude for someone before the sun goes down, acknowledging that you can't get far alone in a day. I consider myself to be friendly enough. I was silent in social terms, but not a loner. And that silence and writing saved my life, saved my mind. There are fairies and elves, but God helps those who help themselves. We need not blame others, as man could be a product of his own imagined creation. People striving to do the right thing can sometimes appear angry or insane. Keep driving and keep smiling. Listen to a little rock and roll on the radio, and go toward life with all the courage and faith you can find. Stand up truly brave. As poets say, love is not soft. Love has sharp teeth, and its wounds never heal. The truth is often buried in the details. A coward judges all he sees by his own image. Talent is like a dull knife that doesn't cut anything unless it is wielded with great force. Fear is a blinding emotion. Genuine sorrow is as rare as true love. It's okay to feel fear, but sometimes showing it is a very bad idea. Time is a thief of memory. When your story is ready to be rewritten, cut it to the bone. Remove all extra fat. This will hurt. Revising a story down to its essential parts is painful, but necessary. Humor could be considered decorated anger. Pray for rain all you like, but dig a well too. Discipline and relentless effort are the grindstones that hone the dull knife of talent, until it's sharp enough to cut through the toughest meat and cartilage. Pride is the invisible bond that stiffens the neck. Letting go is hard, even when what you're holding onto is full of thorns. Every book you choose to read has its own lessons, and often the bad ones teach more than the good ones. Everyone writes a novel about the past. I hated school, so I don't trust anyone who looks back on the years from 14 to 18 with enjoyment. Memory is the basis of all journey. Sometimes there's no difference at all between salvation and damnation. A little bit of sand seeping into a clam can make a pearl. If you can't express fear, you can't conquer it. Pain is the greatest power of love. He who speaks without listening is a mute. It's beyond me why people would use religion to hurt each other when there's already so much pain in the world. Adults are the real monsters. A good marriage is one where disputes never take place without reconciliation and trust, and a sense of humor are present. The heart can be hard and it can be bent, but most of the time, it does not break. Clear communication between the superficial self and the deep self eliminates the confusion of self-doubt. Writing is like being in a dream state or in a self-erected hypnotic state. It induces a not quite right but quite eerie state. The past is stubborn and does not want to change. I have the best job in the world. I play in my imagination all day and get paid for it. there is always someone who knows something. People can't change everything all at once. When writing a book, you have to look at the trees every day. But once the work is done, you have to step back and look at the forests. A home is where you dance with others, and that dance is life. If you can read this, you own the world. Behind every happy face of Jekyll, there is a mirror, Hyde, and a dark face on the other side of the mirror. There's nothing quite like the story of people finding warmth in harsh, windy situations. Soon, everything you thought you had left behind will come back. For better or worse, it will return. Death is a miracle no less than birth. Life is a wheel on which no one can stand for long. And it always returns to the same place. A man with a good wife can be said to be the luckiest among God's creations. I choose to believe in God because God makes situations better. People can be shockingly unobservant. Time past adds false memories and modifies the real ones. When the facts speak, the wise listen. Anything that can still make you laugh 30 years later is not a waste of time. I think such a thing is very close to immortality. A person who does not learn from the past is a fool. We are all dying. The world is nothing but a hospice with fresh air. As always, whenever he felt a real need for God, his heart was quiet on the surface, but a deeper part, where faith waged an incessant battle with doubt, harbored a fear that it might not find answers. Fantasy novels are essentially about the concept of power. A great fantasy novel involves those who search for it at tremendous cost, or those who tragically lose it. An average fantasy novel concerns those who possess it without ever losing it, and merely brandish it around. God does not give bribes. He just creates signposts and lets people interpret as they wish. A draft of a book, no matter how long, should not exceed the length of a season, which is 3 months. Only children tell all the truth. That's what makes them children. Fools are the only people on earth who absolutely believe they can get what they rightfully deserve. And the real ending, whether it's a happy ending or a sad ending, is never Teddy. I know what fear is. What I fear is not pain. What I fear is the end of this small, sweet dream. The quickest way to learn about a new place is to know what it dreams of. You cannot turn off love as if you're turning off a faucet. Nor can you turn off the love that is sometimes absent and sometimes taken for granted. Love flows from the heart, and the heart has its own commands. Every marriage has 2 hearts. One is light, and the other is dark. I encourage myself to break away from mundane and rational thoughts by learning to remain physically still when I write or sleep. You cannot move others with the power of your writing until you write. If you wear a clown suit and a rubber clown nose, nobody knows how you really look. Thanks for watching.